Hey guys, what's good, what's happening, and what's going on? As I said on the previous video, I watched the Marling Baits where he made he made a wooden carving of he called it the most aggressive ribbed swim bait ever. And I'll post a picture of the final product here, if I can get one off the site. If I didn't post a picture, I apologize because I couldn't find one. Oh, come on, turn on. This freaking switch, I gotta replace it. Anyway, so he posted this video. I missed it, and then I saw it, and I was like, that's pretty cool. I wonder if I can make one in 3D print. And I did. I made the mold. I showed you that on the last video. And now what I want to do is we're gonna go out to the garage, and we're gonna pour one, because I want to see if Silk PLA holds up to great thermals. And I'm thinking we're just gonna pour it in one color just to see if it works. Man, there's dog shit everywhere. My dog will not go into the grass. He insists on pooping on the walkway because he comes out when it's raining and he's just like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna poop right here. And he poops. Gotta love dogs, man, especially small dogs. All right, so I guess the first thing we should do is clear off our workspace because we're gonna need to pour and we're gonna need space for that. So I'm just gonna move my drill out of the way here. These BBs, that's what I was using to weigh down those baits that I tested. Sandpaper to sand down those baits that I tested. Chuck that over there for now. This block, I was using it for mixing up glue, and we'll leave this here. We have our water, we have drill bits, we have clamps, all this stuff we do not need. All right, what I'm thinking is I want to try out the silver pigment to see what it looks like, because we've never tested out the plastic color silver. As you can tell, it's still wrapped up. Let's go ahead and pull this off. I don't know why the whole plastic doesn't come with it. I do want to buy some more pigments than the ones I have, but right now I just bought a bunch of PLA. By a bunch, I mean I bought 3 rolls of it. 2 PLAs and 1 ABS. Let's chat with my buddy. I mentioned this on the previous video. He does pretty much what I do, except for he does it better. He's actually sent me some molds to print. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at the Tin Man. Oh man, that's gross. Oh, that's not coming off either. Great. And now I got chrome nails. Try explaining that one in the office tomorrow. Why is your nail chrome? Well, see, I was making baits last night. Bullshit. Where is the other cap? There is supposed to be a cap up here that has a thing on it that opens, that fell down here, and I found it. And that's not it. But this one is. And it's already got freaking rubber stuck to it. Freaking plastisol, man. Gets into everything. Anyway, this is like shimmering. What we're going to do is I'm just going to run a half a cup of this poop. Is there stuff in there? Or is that on the bottom? That's totally on the bottom. Okay. I'm going to run a half a cup of this. I didn't even pay attention while I was pouring. Look at the accuracy. I'm freaking good. I'm like the king of pouring. We're going to chuck it in the nuker for 3 minutes. Only tree, not tor. Let it heat up. And like I said, this is the bait. So I don't know if you can see can you see in there? I don't know if you can see in there, but there's some head detail. You're probably recognizing that head detail from my other swim bait. Literally, I cut the head off. Now the rib section here is literally squares, and then I used a shape to come in and contour it to basically get this shape idea. Now it comes in, and then it comes up here, and then it goes back down deep. The reason being is I put a hook slot in. I learned my lesson from those other swim baits that I made, the Shamu swim baits, that if you don't have a hook slot, it's a pain in the ass to pass a hook through the body. So I was like, yeah, I better put a hook slot in it. So I just added a square in the bottom to fill in the hook slot, but not the ribs. So the ribs will go down and the hook will sit between the ribs, giving it more of a store-bought feel, as long as this mold holds up. God, please hold up. I will be using my temperature gun this time around. We're also, like I said, we're doing one color. We're gonna do silver. I'm probably gonna throw some flake into it. Maybe we'll do silver and, what do you think? Silver and blue? Silver and green? Silver and green could be pretty badass. Let's do silver and green. Is the green already open? No, it is not. Now it is. So where they pre-glue these freaking things. Okay, that's capped. I can put that back over there. Did I leave the garlic open? No, man, all I can smell is garlic right now. Now I got sprinkles all over me, so I'm gonna find those in 15 days from now all around the house. All right, we'll wait for this to preheat, and then we'll take it out, give it a stir, see where we're at. Probably gonna have to put it back in for another minute, go from there. All right, guys. Well, she's looking translucent, so she's steaming pretty bad. And she's really hot on the hands. This is where I should be wearing my gloves. I grab one of my gloves here just to take it out of the microwave so it doesn't burn my friggin' digits. I need those to do my job, you know. I type on a computer all day. It's actually pretty damn good. All right, let's see where we're sitting here. Let's grab Mr. Thermal Cannon. 375 Fahrenheit. Okay, I think we're safe to say that we can add some dye to it. My buddy was also telling me, he's like, you know, you can just go to Michael's and buy resin dye, right? You don't need to buy the stuff from the bait shop. He goes, the only thing you need the bait shop for is the plastisol. He's like, I go to Michael's for everything. I said, what about those Dollarama sparkles? And he's like, they'll work in a pinch. He goes, but they do melt down in size, so buy the bigger ones. But these are Dollarama sparkles, so whatever. I'm gonna chuck a bunch of these in there. Ooh, geez, that's probably way too much. Just kind of tilted it. Oh yeah, that's a beautiful color, eh? But he told me go to, you can get mica powder at Michael's, and it's actually really, really, really good for dyeing your plastisol. Instead of using the liquid dye, you put in a tablespoon of like mica powder and add some more of these sparkles to it. Just really get them in there. It's probably all melting into the friggin' plastisol. I bet you there's no sparkles at all in there. Let's see where we are sitting on the thermometer. Gun, tell me. 320 Fahrenheit. I can pour that. Let's go ahead and start pouring this bait. Alright, so the top's probably going to look like Cabbage Patch Kids, but something I can do is grab this knife and just gently scrape it along the... Oh no, that's not going to work. It's too cooled. I should have reheated it to 350. Okay, well this might be a batch job, or a botched job. And now I'm starting to think that maybe I should have made it a split mold, but we'll see what happens. So it's starting to sink in there, and it's going to look weird. See what I mean? It's starting to dent, so I don't know how this is going to work out. But when I was pouring it, it was kind of lumping. So I probably should have brought the temperature back up. Oh, that's friggin' hot on the fingers. Good thing I'm built to burn myself. Okay, I'm gonna put this back in for 30 seconds and then mix it back up. Now, somebody mentioned try making a frog lure, and I thought about it. And the problem with the frog is this is sinking plastic, so I'd have to figure out a way to make it buoyant. So my solution for that is I'm gonna make a crawfish instead. And I'm working on that mold right now. I don't know how long this is gonna take to cool down. Like the mold itself is not hot. The plastic is. I don't even know if I can pull that out yet. We're gonna let that sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. Just make sure it cools down and it cures a bit. Then we'll pull it out and we'll see how bad it looks. It also doesn't help that it's super cool out tonight. It's gonna drop down to -1 because, well, welcome to Canada. Yeah, it's gotta be good. I'm gonna see if I can pull it out of this mold. Ouch. No, she's still pretty freaking hot. But the head has detail, so that's kind of cool. Can I get the tail to come out? This may have been a fail. Like, it's got the ribs, but it's got a super thin back because it collapsed in on itself. So, it looks like tomato soup because it's too cold right now. And when the plastisol cured, it collapsed in on itself. So I'm just going to do myself a favor and chuck that guy right back into the vat. Luckily, we don't waste this way. We just try again. And the mold held up nicely. Let's get him back in there. Get that guy to melt like the Terminator 2 from Judgment Day. He once was solid and now he's liquid. And then he was solid again. See, this is all about prototyping, guys. This is what you do. This is what you do with a 3D printer. You prototype. Now, Marling Bates was using a top pour, but he did his out of silicone, that pink 2-part silicone, which is probably a smarter thing to do. Using non-flexible plastic that doesn't split apart is probably not smart to do, but you guys know on this channel I do a lot of stupid stuff, so just accept it. So, you know, for me to do this here in a split mold, I'd have to cut it and I'd have to put guides on it to be able to pinch it together. It was easier to do that with the Senko mold because, well, Senkos are just round tubes with ribs. Problem is I didn't put enough material on the mold. And I also clamped it stupidly, so that was fun. Alright, we're mixed up. We're all solid. Let's start pouring again. Just want to make sure there's a lot of material on top. Is that melting as it goes over the side? See, it's already starting to cause a cavity. Oh, that's such a mess. It's already starting to cause a cavity. As it cools, it sucks down into the mold. And I was having that problem the other day too, probably because I'm currently, I don't even know what the temperature is out, like probably 4 degrees Celsius. It's 8 degrees Celsius. So we'll wait for that to cool. So this might be a failed attempt. I'm willing to accept it as a failed attempt. Oh man, that stuff really sticks to fabric. Okay, well, we're not getting those globs back, that's for sure. Maybe when they cool, we can peel them off, but then we're going to get fabric material in them probably. All right, so that mold definitely will not work in its current state. And like I said, welcome to prototyping, where you try different things. They either succeed or they don't. Let's see how it's still liquid here. If I pour some more on the top, will it laminate? Nope. That's a hard no. See, another friend of mine was Kyle, actually. He said, get a direct drive for your printer and then just print these things in TPU, which is another material. It's a flexible PLA, a polylactic acid. And then you literally, what I'm doing here, you can just done bait, done bait. What a lot of people will do is they'll design, like the insert I put into there, they'll take that and then they'll put that there into a mold box, and then fill it with silicone and make a top pour silicone mold. So when they're done, they can actually like maneuver it around and pop the bait out once it cools. And that's actually the smarter thing to do versus what I'm trying to do here. So this is probably going to be a fail too. I'm willing to bet this is a fail too. But you know what? Guys, you can't be afraid to fail. All right? Rule number 1. Don't be afraid to fail, because if you're afraid to fail, you'll never try anything. Ooh, the mold is taking damage, boys. I'll show you that in a minute. Oh, the tail's coming out. The tail came out fine. She's still super hot, though. Oh, no. That's a ruined mold. Okay, never mind. All right, well, I don't know what to tell you. I still have a lot of work to do. It only took 13 hours to print, though, so that's not too bad. Probably should have let it cure longer. I got too anxious. Got a fridge out here I've cured it, and then you want to see it suck itself down into the mold. Oh my god, it's all in there. Yeah, this mold is basically scrap. All right, well, back to the drawing board. You know, you can't win them all. You can't win them all. Oh yeah, this mold is definitely scrap. Oh my god. Yeah, she's like completely delaminating from the front. Yeah, I think ABS and a split mold might work. See, this is the problem when what's lower than amateur? Is that noob? When a noob bait maker who's just having fun in his garage with some plastisol tries to compete with a professional bait maker who's been doing it for freaking ever and has a job doing it, and I don't mean just a YouTube channel, I mean people actually buy his baits. When you try to replicate what they do, you miss steps, because I'm pretty sure they don't show everything, because they don't want to give away all their secrets on YouTube. They just give you enough, and if you're smart enough, you can replicate it. Well, I wasn't smart enough, because I tried to replicate it with a 3D printer. Oh yeah, look at that. I don't know if the camera's picking this up, but like, you see how all these channels here are lifted now? Yeah, this mold took way too much heat damage, got way too much heat poisoning, and she is cooked, but those look pretty good. I don't know why I'm picking this out. I'm literally going to chuck it in the garbage. It's pretty much potato soup. Like, it's done. So now I got all this silver plastisol, so what do I do with it? Pour some more swim baits? Do I just let it harden up and then we'll use it some other day? Probably that would be the best bet. Well, boys, that's an E for effort, but an F for fail, because that was a fail boat. But like I said, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to figure it out. I am tempted. That's a nice silver, man. That would do pretty slick with those swim baits. I don't know how damaged those swim bait molds are. I'm just going to grab 2 of them, clamp them together, and let's pour some... Okay, that's just plastisol. Let's pour some silver chodes. Maybe some silver chodes will look pretty nice. All right, let's get rid of this rag, because it's covered in plastisol, and it's become one with the material, and it's no good now. All right, so once again, back to the drawing board. So we learned 2 things today. Silk PLA doesn't handle the heat. I wasn't using these big ones. I was using the little ones. Where the hell did the little ones go? I had smaller ones than that. Oh, I was using them over here to try and tie off that battery. Yeah, that was an awesome time. Testing the battery on the car. I'm pretty sure the battery's shot. I did research, and it literally, I'm sure that when that video comes out, you guys are going to tell me the same thing. Adam, replaced the damn battery already, for crying out loud. And you're right. Everything I read online says if your battery is really old, it's not going to hold a charge. That battery is freaking ancient. so don't expect it to hold a charge. Okay, set those guys there. Let's nuke this for another 30. Then we'll pour some silver saucy swimmers. Can't call them that. Some silver chodes. Silver chode. Silver chode. Chodelicious in the swimming. Oh man, I totally spilt my sparkles. Thought I had that closed. That was expensive. It was a freaking $1. Like honestly, doesn't that look like the Terminator from Terminator 2? When he like goes back into liquid metal form? Looks pretty awesome. Looks like a great big vat of anti-seize. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. It's only 300. I'm gonna hit it again for another 20 seconds and that should bring it up to 350. It really sucks that the friggin' swimmer didn't work. I have a feeling these aren't gonna work either that well. They're gonna dent because of how cold it is in here. I can't see my breath, but it's pretty frigid in here. It's not really awesome. You know, all this bait making stuff, I might just decide later on to be like, screw it. I'm not going to do this anymore, and I'm just going to buy my stuff from Canadian Tire like everybody else who goes fishing. Even though it is kind of fun, though. Like, I printed off that mold, and I was all excited. It's like, all right, version 1, let's see if it works. Hard fail. Okay, version 2, on your way. 333. Can I pour that? I'm going to do it anyway. I don't give a care. As long as it doesn't look lumpy coming out. It is way too cold to be doing this tonight. I can only get one in because any more than that, and this stuff here is already hardened up. What are we at now? I just poured it. It was 333. We're already at 290, 288. It's no good to pour. I'm gonna put it back in and blast it again. 25 more seconds and then try and get that other mold off. Now we're at 385, so a couple stirs and that should bring it down. Get some air to mix in with it. Like I said, now we know that PLA is not the material. I bought a roll of ABS, but then I didn't realize that ABS is a little bit different to print with. You need an enclosure around your printer because if you don't have one and there's a slight breeze, ABS will just topple over on itself. It'll also not cure right and stuff, so plastic is probably running right through. I need another clamp for the front. I'm gonna borrow this one. It's a little bit overkill, but just to hold it. Well, I filled that tail. Oh shit, now it's all lumpy. I had a perfect pour there too. I just cocked it over. That one blew through the front and side? No, that one looks fine. Well, it doesn't look fine. It looks like tomato soup, but she'll swim. She'll swim. Probably not. Probably not. I can't even see any of the glitter in this. Like, there's no glitter. Like, if I show you this thin layer of the plastic, look at that. There's no glitter in there. There's a bunch of stains, but there's no glitter whatsoever. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Bait making's fun. Really wish my lures would print, though. Having a bitch of a time actually coming up with a design that's going to work. The only ones that seem to work right are the through wire ones, and they're a whore and a half the wire. So I just don't know anymore, man. Well, that has an interesting pattern to it, except for that cancerous blob on the tail. Body looks pretty good. It was almost marble patterned. Huh. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Get the flashing off of it while it's still hot. Hopefully without ripping the tail off of it. I am going to get into injecting, guys. Okay, I'm going to get an injector. I'm going to get a proper Senko mold because I'm going to have to make Senkos. Obviously, I can't rely on the 3D printer. An ABS mold might hold out, but I might be able to even inject a PLA mold. Because this bulletproof PLA, I keep calling it that, and it's not bulletproof PLA. It's just PLA plus. It's thermal resistant to a point, and Well, my Senko mold would have held out if I didn't put the clamp in one location. If I would have attached a piece of wood on each side and put the pressure on and it spread the pressure across, it probably would have lived a better life. But because I'm stupid and I like to do stupid things, that mold only had the chance to be a one pour mold. But it worked, like you saw it worked. And I do have a revision of it coming out. I just got to print it. So even though that looks like complete tomato soup, this probably looks pretty damn close to a minnow in the water if it's flapping around. I think a fish would eat that. That's probably the best friggin' mold I ever invented, was that stupid split mold. That's probably what I'm gonna do with that rib mold. I'm gonna make it into a split mold. And I'm gonna use the technology I used on the, instead of doing the dots, the circles, the cylinders, I'm gonna use the balls. That sounded so bad. The way the Senko mold clipped together, I didn't have to do any sanding, any prepping. On these ones here, every time I printed them, I had to take sandpaper or a file to the actual, to the connectors, just so it would join and hold. Pretty sure the tail on that one's wampus, but oh my God, so much flashing. There's probably dirt in that now. All right, well, let's go ahead and pop this open and see what it looks like. I need the Liberator. Thank you, Liberator. Thank you for liberating my bait. Yeah, like these swim bait molds, they work out pretty damn good. Every single pour. I'm impressed with them. These ones are actually really good. I really got to get a pair of scissors out here to trim this flashing. Or I should build the sidewalls on the swim bait molds so they're a little higher so that I don't have to fill them right up to the brim. Because like, that's not too bad. Like, it's pretty rough on the top, and the texture, it's the texture that gets me. It almost looks like a scale pattern. Like, and flapping that in the water, you saw the action that they get. It's not too freaking shabby. So one nice thing about that PLA Plus is it transfers heat out. And I do appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna check the, Jesus, I gooed my clamp. Now I got goo in my clamp. This is awesome, man. Luckily it comes off with ease. Comes off everything with ease. The die, not so much. Okay, that's a fail. Well, maybe. The tail's really thin, but it might flap. Okay, I'm just gonna do those three for now because I don't feel like being out here all night pouring baits. I'm gonna let that cool down and then we'll put it in the pile of pucks. So yeah, like I said, we learned some stuff today. We learned that silk PLA is horrible for making molds, which we probably should have known already. That silver dye, not a fan of it. Either that or I just used too much. I don't know. But it's got a weird texture to it. I probably used way too much. I got to listen to, there's another guy, World's Worst Fishing. He does a lot of bait making. And he always says less is more. I like to eat at buffets, so I always say more is better. And he's obviously right because he can make baits and I can make messes. So words to live by. So yeah, I just poured 3 of those swimmers. I'm gonna probably try and fish them anyway. I don't care if they look like, like, look at the tail on this one here. Like, it's really thin, it really hangs down. But that might give some sick action in the water and entice a bite. It'll probably rip the tail clean off, but I don't give a care. And like, this one here is not too bad. Now that it's cured a bit, it's a pretty good one. And well, this was another one that didn't turn out too bad. So all in all, I like that texture, but the way that it was pouring, it was coming out and like blah, 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 blah. So I may invest in an injector. And I found a site, actually my buddy who makes molds like I do, he tried to inject into a PLA mold and he said, yeah, it doesn't take the pressure. But I was like, did you put vent holes? Because I watched a couple of videos of guys making PLA molds and they have vent holes coming out the sides so that the air can escape while the plastisol's coming in. And they made those grubs, those, I don't have any. No, I do have them in here. No, I don't. I put them in the other bag. You know those grubs? They're like worm, and then they got a spinny tail and it flaps in the water. They made a mold of that out of PLA, 100% infill with vent holes, and the air had somewhere to go because he was applying pressure, putting the juice into the friggin' mold. The air had nowhere to go. It blew out the sides and hot plastisol went everywhere. Luckily, his mold was here. He was standing where I am. He's pressing over top. It blew out the sides and he got none on him because that shit will scold you. Well, it's 350 Fahrenheit for crying out loud. Of course it's going to scold you, right? Oh, there's my green flake. It's all on the bottom. Well, that's cute. Anyway, I'm going to let that cool down and then we're going to probably take it out of there and chuck it in the puck pile. I was thinking about pouring some worms with it, but I'm done pouring for tonight. So Yeah, my ribbed mold was a fail, but it will not be a lost mold because I will revamp it. I will make it a split mold. We will make that sea sucker work. I'll make it taller. That way there I can pour more in there, and when it sucks down, it won't be a big freaking deal. I will get that swim bait mold to work. Also with the whopper plopper, because we know that works in the water, I want to make a bigger one. I want to make like a friggin' big whopper plopper that just kabloo, 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 kabloo in the water and really upsets the friggin' water lines. Maybe a pike will eat it. That would be kind of cool to catch another pike. It's been a while. I only caught 2 in my lifetime. I need more. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for tonight. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, click that like button. Any questions, comments, concerns, down below they go. And until next time, guys, live it to win it. Peace the frig out. Sit, stupid, sit. Good dog.